and I gave up on streaming multiple times and got back into gave up, got back, gave up. And then I figured out why I kept giving up is because I didn't like what I was putting out because it's not just that I felt it was half-baked trash. It was half-baked trash. Because I knew that, I'm like, I give up. I don't want to do this because it's wrong for me to do it. It felt wrong to do it.
Hi guys, welcome in for another episode of Gamer Chats. Today we'll be talking to Almondiah, who is a VTuber over on Twitch and he primarily does art and animation and actually is working on his own fan-made Pokemon game. Today, one of the topics that we cover is the times when you are trying to create or pursue something and you let yourself down. And that is a topic that I think a lot of people can relate to and learn from. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. So, what is, or what was the moment that you really fell in love with video games?
The moment I fell in love with video games, I think it was Pokemon Fire Red.
Okay.
That's like my earliest memory of video games. For some reason, I don't even know if it's true, but like it's like I found the cartridge in a tent in a long, weird, windy, not even windy. It was very linear. It was like a corner of a box, pathway of a forest out in the like opening, like man-made pathway. I don't know why we set up tent. I don't even know if we set up tent for. Anyway, I found the cartridge in there. I assume it was my sister's because she was into video games.
Uh-huh.
But I took it not knowing it was my sister's. And I played Fire Red.
Uh-huh.
And I was very fascinated because I did have I think Game Boy was my first system.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or PS1 or 2. It was my first system, right? And then I got into PS2. Like Crash Bandicoot was one of my first games on there. The Toy Story game. And a couple others I can't even put my freaking finger on. But yeah, it was Game Boy to GameCube-ish, PS2-ish. So I'm like interested in Sonic Adventure, Sonic Heroes, and Luigi's Mansion was huge for me.
Oh yeah,
So
okay.
like so growing from Game Boy to GameCube to PS2 is when I really started loving video games because my parents are somewhat into video games. My mother was into horrors and mysteries and solving things and puzzles, and my father was interested in general shooters and Pokemon. My sister was also interested in Pokemon and shooters, but her love for Pokemon probably vanished like around when I got into Pokemon. I have no idea, but
Okay.
she held on to shooters for a long time. But I guess my parents influenced me in a little bit.
I want to back up to how you got a video game cartridge out of a tent.
I can't tell you more. That's
Okay.
all I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just we were in the I don't know, we were in the tent. I saw it on the floor of the tent. I pick it up. I'm like, cool. I know what this is. For some reason, I know what it is. So what? I have no idea.
All
That's all I
right.
can tell you.
Okay. Uh so what about Pokemon was it that really like drew you in?
Um, I think it was. I think it was just the. I think it was the turn-based
Yeah.
monster collecting element. Things happening like things happening on screens. Like I click a button and then something on the screen does what I tell it to do. And I'm like, that's an interesting idea. Wow. It's activating neurons for me.
Yeah.
Like it was cool. Poke like a monster on your team that you collect
Hmm.
does what it tells you and fights other monsters. And for some reason that clicked.
And that has led you to eventually starting to make your own Pokemon game.
That actually did not lead me to that. That is a whole spiel if we get to that once we get to that point.
And put a pin in it.
Put a pin.
So then you sort of fell in love with Pokemon and then eventually made your way to PS2, which hopefully you played Final Fantasy X whenever it originally came out.
Sadly, no. I think Final Fantasy is one of the games I have least played. I think Square Enix games games I've least played because I just never got the opportunity. There's a lot of games that I never fucking got the opportunity to play because like I didn't I played whatever my parents felt was right to play. Like I think a big memorable game for me was Maximo 1. Maximo.
I don't even know what that is.
I doubt anyone has heard of fucking Maximo. It is it is I think it's an under the radar game. I don't know. I know there were two games of Maximo, but it's kind of like Cohen the Barbarian
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah.
he had like a deal with death. Like I guess death owes him and he's like or is like best friends with death or some shit. And death owes him or something. And when he dies, you know, you I don't know with the soul and shit. But like if you collect enough souls and like do well enough in the game, you like
Hmm.
only transform into death.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool. It's like yeah, they're literally good friends. It's kind of interesting. I think it's just trying to like save literally it's a Conan the Barbarian save the princess. Fucking Maximo was done wrong and Death is trying to help him out. Something like that.
All right.
Yeah. He was betrayed or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Wait. Oh shoot. What was the point? What was the point of that? Oh
Uh,
yeah. So yeah, my parents were yeah, whatever my parents were around is what I was around. And unfortunately,
mhm.
a lot of games that I'm interested in now were not games that I played in my youth, like Final Fantasy and Dead Space and whatever, and
That's
Silent Hill and shit,
dude. I've never played a Silent Hill game or Resident Evil.
or Resident Evil. I haven't played a single Resident Evil game. No.
Yeah, and I'm told that I'm missing out, but I don't know. I don't. I I haven't
Ooh,
felt that
and
way,
fuck, and Castlevania. Fuck, that's a big one I really want to play.
dude. With all the Metroidvanias I play, you would think I've played Castlevania, but I remember trying it at my buddy's house, and I was just like, nah, this isn't for me.
Interesting.
But
That's fair. That's fair.
I fucking love Hollow Knight. I just played this fucking uh like psychedelic Metroidvania that was a blast to play.
Oh, what was it called? Vava? Voids? Voids?
Ultros.
Voltros.
And it like
Yeah.
it was beautiful, but no, dude, I think I missed the ship on Castlevania and like Metroid.
Oh yeah, Metroid was a game for me. But like I think the first Metroid game I played was the 3D one, first person. I think it was a first person one.
Hmm.
And it was weird. That was my first impression of Metroidvania. And I thought it was just I thought not Metroidvania, Metroid. And I thought it was just scary. I thought all Metroid games were scary.
Yeah.
Apparently they're not.
Uh, are they
I think it
not?
was just that one. I don't even remember what it was called.
Wow. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, it was a lot slower paced, really dark, like actually brightness dark, to barely see. It was
Uh,
like Alien Isolation, but you're playing as Samus.
okay. Well, but it wasn't a Metroid game.
It was definitely a Metroid game.
Okay, okay. Nah, dude, I just like I don't know anything about Metroid. Like, I mean, I know a little bit because of Super Smash Bros, but
Yeah,
that's as far as my knowledge goes.
yeah. You get influenced by all these different games, but it's like you've never played like a certain line of games.
Yeah, which I guess proves that you don't have to be a fucking hipster about anything. You can just like
Yep.
pop in and be like, "Oh yeah, I like this now."
Yeah, I like it. Like I missed a large line of Zelda games. I think
Hmm.
my first Zelda game was Wind Waker, for sure.
Dude, that one was great.
It's fucking perfect, my guy. Fucking fantastic. I would love to go back.
I remember just falling in love with the cell shading. Like I really
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely amazing. Couldn't believe my eyes when I was playing it. Like the colors, like it was so cozy, so beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then my next one was like Twilight Princess, but it was too hard for me, I guess. I was too young to figure out what puzzles and shit, I guess. I didn't know where the fuck I was going.
Well,
But it was Ocarina of Time that I actually put in the effort. Dude, when it came to Ocarina of Time, dude, Ocarina of Time was the days that I still didn't know YouTube existed, by the way. So whenever I do walkthroughs, I would read walkthroughs.
well, I mean, that's how I started out. So there was no
Yeah.
YouTube when I started gaming.
I don't think there was YouTube when I started gaming either, but I don't remember. I really don't, but if I ever look up a walkthrough, I usually just try to read it because videos, I'm like, it's a visual feed, but you're not exactly showing me what I want to see.
Right. Well, yeah, because walkthroughs on YouTube usually they do like whole sections, and it's like,
Yeah,
hey man, I'm
you
just
gotta
looking for
look
this
for
one
it.
specific part.
Yeah, yeah. Usually, to just read it is much easier because like they'll write down the specific part rather than looking through the video. You got to go through the spiel, and then they're like, yes, so here's what we're talking about in this video, and then you got to make your way through that. I'm like, okay, I've gotten through that. I gotten through that. I get it, but let me see how to get through this door. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now that you're mentioning watching YouTube videos when you're playing Ocarina of Time, I'm assuming you played it way later than it came out.
Oh no, I played Ocarina when the 3DS came. Yeah, I played Ocarina when the 3DS came out, like as soon as it came out.
Okay, yeah. That was a while after it originally released. Okay. Man, I feel a little old. That's okay. Um
I still have my DSi. Still
I
works.
I didn't have a DSi. I was never a big like Nintendo fan, and it just like didn't do it for me.
I mean, I'm not a huge Nintendo fan either, but a DS systems is what I was given,
Right.
so I worked with it. And personally, I think DS is still the best era of Nintendo
Maybe.
in my world, anyway.
I think that's really interesting. I don't know. I've never really like thought about what I thought was the best era of gaming. Like,
Oh, I mean, like a best era of gaming is like beauty in the eye of the beholder. It's all perspective
for sure.
in individual sites. There is no best gaming era. There are factually eras of gaming that accomplished and influenced more
Hmm.
in certain ways, but each era influences in different ways, in a
Yeah,
different effectiveness, in negative ways and in good ways. Both ways are good, good and bad. It is what it is.
for sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, there is no best era.
Well, yeah, I meant like my personal best because I don't know. Every time I'm like, maybe PlayStation 4 was like my like favorite
Yeah.
because I mean played the shit out of my PS4, uh, but now I'm like learning so much about so many different games
Mm.
that I wouldn't have learned about if it weren't for Twitch, and that's what I like. You know, it's just like I see these games, and I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool, and I either pick it up or I just watch another person to play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm playing this game right now called Rain World, and it's described as like an economic Sims.
Yes. I think I know what you're talking about.
It's
I mean,
a
I know what you mean by economic sense. I know what Rain World is.
environmental, not economic. Uh,
Aha.
that's what I meant.
I agree with this.
But yeah, I wouldn't have found out about it otherwise.
Yeah. It's like platformers, like 2D side scroller platformers, but like environment is a huge key,
Yeah, yeah, and
like
there's
the atmosphere and everything,
yeah,
all telling a story.
which is
I mean,
really true. I've only played for a few hours so far, so I'll be going back to it soon. I just
yeah.
had to finish. What did I just? Oh, I was finishing Ultros. That like took precedence.
Yeah. It looks interesting. I'm definitely going to play it.
Rain World or Ultros?
Both, for sure.
Yeah. Uh, definitely play Ultros. It's not super combat heavy though, so if
I'm
you
cool with that.
yeah,
A game's a game,
true.
which is why I love games. I like gaming history.
Like what part about it?
I like the impact it has on people as they grow, and I like what happens behind the scenes and why they make these games and what they do to make something work in a game when they have little resources. I like how the whole shebang works. You know,
So
like a good example would be like Maximilian, dude. You know him?
no.
No? Okay, so he's a YouTuber who talks about the legacy of gaming,
Okay.
gaming history, usually in fighting games. And when he talks about the legacy, I love the way he talks about it because he's like passionate about it. He truly cares about like what goes into it, like not just about the game, but the people who get involved and how they get other people involved and the strings they have to pull to make something work, the
Mhm.
competition, like all these different human factors that go into gaming and why a game was made, what influenced this game to be made is super cool to me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so like inspiration.
Yeah.
So is that what got you into well, okay, actually a better question is have you already made your own like game?
Not once.
Okay.
Unless you count like those website ones where they're like technically pre-made shit that you kind of just make work.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So is that how okay, then the follow-up question is your interest in gaming history, is that what led you to wanting to make your own well, I'm assuming you're working with a team of people. You're working with Alyssa, right?
Alyssa. Small team
Hey,
so far.
those turn out to be some of the best games.
Indeed.
So is that what led you to wanting to make your own fan made game, or?
It could. It could.
Mhm.
Like, I guess it's a stepping stone. It's not for something to happen, it's like a collection of things that
Yeah.
come into play to make one thing happen. It's like that situation. So yes,
Okay. And so I'm assuming that you have a background in art and animation as well.
I do.
Okay. Is that something like you studied, or you just kind of like learned in your own time?
When it came to drawing, I started on traditional, which means like paper, colored pencils and markers.
Yeah.
Um, I used to make. I think when I really started getting serious about drawing, is well serious in my own childhood way is I started making Pokemon manga,
Oh, neat.
and I would just make I guess fan stories. It was basically fucking fan fiction Pokemon, but drawn up as a comic. Not
Oh,
even that great. I mean, but I love it. I love the memories. Fucking all boxy looking people and weird stock image looking Pokemon. um, and then after that, I started making my own. I called it Dagiomon.
okay.
I didn't. I'm not influenced by Digimon whatsoever.
I,
Back then, I actually didn't like Digimon. I guess only because I liked Pokemon. Because I guess it's like my brain would disliked it because it was like, oh no, this is a whole nother thing that's not Pokemon that is confusing me. Oh no, that kind of thing. Because that's what kids are.
well, I
I mean,
do a
today
lot
are.
of like, if something is too similar to something else that I like, then I will not like that thing. Like, there's this game that looks a lot like Hollow Knight, and I like, as I was watching the trailer, I was like, could you guys have been any less original? And
Oh, I mean, I get that. That's not cool.
well, yeah, I mean, it's probably like barely not plagiarism, but
Hmm.
I mean, even like Pokemon and Digimon, like they're very similar concepts,
Oh
right?
yes, similar concepts, of course. Actually, I what came first, I believe, was like Monster Rancher or something like that.
Prince was just playing that.
Yeah, Monster Rancher. Um, actually, Monster Rancher influenced Pokemon. So yeah, Monster Rancher came first
Okay.
before all of those, before Yu-Gi-Oh, before all of that shit. Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh was not something that I got into when I was
No,
younger.
I agree. Not at all. Cards are
And
pretty.
I mean, yeah, plenty of people are. There's nothing wrong with it. With Yu-Gi-Oh, it's just like not in my realm of
Yeah.
interest. And like, I don't know what it is about like any kind of anime with like card anything in it. I just don't have any interest.
I agree. To
Like, there's one that came
each
up.
their own.
Yeah, I there was one my buddy tried to get me into, and I like wanted to want to, and I nope.
I get it. It's just something you can't dig it. But that's okay. It's not for everyone.
Yeah. All right.
Just like Digimon is not for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, like I never really hate something. I appreciate and respect Digimon. Like this is something that this is something I have to say. You know Hunter x Hunter?
Of course.
90% of the fucking population loves Hunter x Hunter, right?
Yeah.
I'm the small percentage that does not like it at all.
Dude, I get it.
But
I mean, I
I
watched.
respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it, and I appreciate the anime. I appreciate like what it does for people, how it entertains people. It makes people happy, makes people inspired, makes people want to go for things. I like that. I appreciate and respect Hunter x Hunter, but I will never watch it.
Dude, I did watch it because I saw this reel on Instagram that was like, "This is the moment Gon lost his humanity," and I was like, "Well, I got to figure that out."
That sounds
And
crazy.
yeah, and it was nowhere near as intense as I hoped it would be.
Ah, it's
And
actually quite funny because I have seen snippets, lots of snippets of Hunter x Hunter, and I'm somewhat pulling the plot together just based on snippets. And every time every time I watch Hunter x Hunter, every other character is doing some badass shit, but I haven't seen Gon do a single damn thing. It's so funny. And I'm like waiting, I'm like, okay, is this the episode Gon actually does something?
yeah, he. So it's like way later, like during the bug arc when he finally does like have his time to shine, and that's pretty late. Like he's really an uninteresting character as far as anime goes, in my
Damn.
opinion. Uh, and I realize that that is probably going to get a lot of hate. But, well, actually, I have like 60 viewers. So, uh,
Let them hate.
yeah.
I know more about Killua than any other character. I don't even watch the anime.
But and also I was motivated to watch it because the creator is the same guy that made Yu Yu Hakusho, and I love Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
I still watch Yu Yu Hakusho to this day.
Really? Nice. Hell
I,
yeah.
I mean, it's a great anime. Well, maybe it's mostly nostalgia talking there. I don't know.
Hmm. I mean, hey, nostalgia is one of my favorite words.
uh, which reminds me, I was in your stream the other day when you said kindred spirits and like people don't really know what that means, and I was like, who would not know what that means?
Hold on. Good day, Reddit. It's good. I'm in a talk show at the moment, so sit back, relax, enjoy your time. Uh, I listen. It's you'd be surprised. I'll literally say kindred spirits, and I've said it many times,
Mhm.
and people are like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Like-minded people." And
Yeah,
they're like, "Ah, yes." I just like
that's
the term kindred spirits because it's a pretty term. It's a pretty ass term.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, I like to say, well, I like to put my own like stupid twists on expressions to be funny, and usually those jokes kind of fall flat, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm, mm.
Like, okay, say I'm leaving work, I like to get on the PA system and say, "All right, guys, let's make like a tree and get the fuck out." And
I love that.
they're just like, yeah, okay. All right, well, I guess I'm not funny. I get it.
I mean, who cares who thinks who's funny? Just do your thing. I like saying, I gotta get the spaghetti out of here.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I don't not as a reference to who touched my spaghetti. I don't. I think that was an overused meme. Anyway, I just like saying it because it rolls off my tongue. It
Yeah,
just
okay.
happened. I started saying that before that meme rolled in. So yeah, just stuff. There's just things you like to say. So who cares
Yeah,
who dislikes it or like it? It's
you
your thing.
you
Fuck it.
right, you right. All right, so let's get into what led you to content creation. which I feel like maybe streaming is a little bit different than content creation, but it still is content, and you
It's
are,
still content,
yeah.
but there's like yes, there's different ways to create content. Um, getting into content creation, I believe it started with Markiplier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know I was on YouTube before a little bit. I was on YouTube a little bit before Markiplier, but like Markiplier was like within the year that I was like actually discovering YouTube. I'm like looking around at different people and like seeing who I really dig with. And for some reason, I was interested in horror games to at least watch other people play horror games.
Right, right.
And like, it's not really the scares I was looking for. It was like I was paying attention to like how the game made me feel, the
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere, and the color, what it's about. Because a thing I do, I still do, not as much. I usually just listen to Rain, but before I sleep, I put on a horror game. And one of my favorite horror games to put on, and the YouTuber matters too. Sometimes I'm in the mood for different ones.
Mm-hmm.
I put on Corey Kinshin playing Akamanto. The
Never
First of all,
heard of
Corey
them.
Kinshin's a mood, and second, Akamanto is a chill as art horror game. It's like the basic of basics. It's you go into a spooky place and there's a monster roaming around. You got to collect things, right?
Okay.
It's the aesthetic and the atmosphere and the sounds and the sights is such a perfect thing for me to sleep to. It's one of my favorite things to sleep to.
Interesting.
So yeah, I sleep to horror games. It's funny.
Well, so there's this thing apparently in like, I mean, there's all kinds of things in psychology, but um like people with depression or anxiety, and I can only speak to this because those are the things that I deal with, will tend to prefer like sad music or sad movies because that's what they're comfortable with. It's like call I don't remember the exact term. It's like comfort discomfort zone or some bullshit.
uh, I
Uh
get it though.
yeah, so like that's
Yeah, totally.
immediately what that made me think of.
Oh yeah, that's on that note, I despise listening to sad music or stuff like that. I'm like because I never understood it. I mean, I understand it for others, but for me, I will never understand it because I'm like, why would I ever listen to a sad song when I'm sad? The fuck? I'm gonna fucking jam out to dubstep, techno, anything. I'll dubstep to
Uh-huh.
literally anything but sad music or romantic music or whatever. If I lost an ex, and when I did lose my ex, I didn't listen to a single sad song because all it would do is remind me of her. The
Well,
fuck? No, absolutely not. I'm gonna jam out and live on.
so that people will also do it when they're happy. Like
They do actually.
like
This is true.
one of my favorite movies is Eternal Sunshine, and I will watch that no matter what kind of mood I'm in, sad or happy. That is a comfort movie for me. And this chick came on the plane yesterday actually, and I was like, "Hey, do you know who you remind me of?" And she was like, "Oh, are you gonna say Ramona Flowers?" And I was like, "No, but I can see that with the orange hair." Uh, and
Mm.
I was like, "No, I was gonna say Kate Winslet in Eternal Sunshine." She was like, "Oh yeah, I've never watched that movie because I don't want to be sad." And I was like, "Oh, I mean, like you're missing out on a beautiful experience." But I didn't say that, of course. I'm not gonna shit on somebody like that for, you know, I don't know what their experience with art is. Like maybe it really affects them.
Hmm.
And I mean, to me, that's just a sign of good art.
Yeah.
If something can make you feel something that it actually changes your mood, like, you know, I don't know if you've ever read a book that makes you cry, but like books that make me cry, I'm just like, God damn, that was a good book.
Yeah. Of course, everybody receives things differently.
Yeah.
Um, Back to the content creation because I went way off. So getting into the horror,
Well, I
I
let
got
that
in.
happen too. So
It's okay.
it was a,
That's what talk shows are anyway.
yeah,
That's
basically.
actually the fun part when you discover things that you don't mean to even like for other people who are listening, they hearing things that no one planned to even say.
Well,
It's the
that's,
cool stuff.
yeah, that's why, like, I have, when I tell people about this, I have general questions, but they're not like a hard and fast rule that I have to ask these questions. I like, if the conversation derails into something else, that's perfectly fine because one, I'm going to learn something, and two, people that like you are also going to learn something, or whoever, you know? Like, there's all kinds of neat things that can happen.
This is true. I agree with this.
um,
So the Markiplier, right?
right.
Same year, it was Five Nights at Freddy's is when I discovered Markiplier,
Okay.
and when I discovered Markiplier, he was my comfort YouTuber. Like every day, all summer, all day, just nonstop watching Markiplier videos. I'm talking about I went back to his first videos and made my way all the way up to the present.
Yeah.
Like I watched the shit out of Markiplier. It was not healthy, first of all, and I absolutely regret it. Could have. I wish I made something else of my time, but it's cool. I'm here and now. So yeah, I watched a lot of Markiplier, and I was interested in making videos too.
yeah.
After my binge, of course. And it felt like too much of a challenge to make videos because I felt it was too restricting to make videos on my PS3.
hmm
I think that's when I was. I think that's when I was getting into content. It was the PS3. I'm like, oh, it's too complicated. It's just a record, and then like, I don't have a good computer,
hmm
or I don't even have the time because I spent all that time in summer watching Markiplier.
Right.
I instead tried making these videos in periods of time where my time is taken up by real life shit
Yeah.
instead of all the free time I had as a kid. I was trying to get into it while I didn't have free time. So going from high school to college and all that shit. Um, I gave up many, many, many times. So many times.
hmm
And I tried again and again. Then I did live streaming like by the time PS4 came out, I believe.
hmm
And I felt, oh, well, this is easy because all I have to do is click a button and now I'm live streaming on PS4 and nothing really goes into it. I mostly did live streams on YouTube. I didn't want to do Twitch because for some reason it felt complicated. I was a simple-minded idiot back then. Super complicated. I'm like, oh fuck. And so I go to YouTube. I'm like, oh, yeah, the video's already up. Cool. And I always have the plan to like take bits out of that live stream and like turn it into an edited video with like my visions. Like I had as lazy as I was, or like not lazy because it is procrastination. So as procrastinate as I was, I still had a load of fucking visions, as most do.
Right.
Most may procrastinate a lot. We
Well, I feel like
procrastinate,
that's a common
but
theme with like
yes,
creative types.
yeah, it's they have so much they want to share, but they procrastinate because they're thinking about all the different things. Yeah, no, that's a whole neurobiology thing that we're not going to go into because that's a long segment. I can get into it, but that's a long segment. So anyway, yes, I procrastinate a lot, and I gave up on streaming multiple times and got back into gave up, got back, gave up, and then I figured out why I kept giving up is because I didn't like what I was putting out because it's not just that I felt it was half baked trash. It was half baked trash. Because I knew that, I'm like, I give up. I don't want to do this because it's wrong for me to do it. It felt wrong to do it.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. I gave it up. And then at some point I tried to make videos and I'm like first of all, I don't have time. I know this is an important point though. Um, yes, sure, you don't have a lot of time,
Right.
but the issue is not that you don't have a lot of time, it's that you didn't make time. And you
Yeah.
can make time. It works. But again, procrastination, neurobiology, all that stuff, it's a whole complicated mess. So, trying to get into video editing, I didn't give myself time, and I tried it a couple times. Didn't work out. I think my only successful edited video was part of a live stream that I did for Halloween. I
Hmm.
still have that on my channel. It's I drew like a bunny, a Halloween ghost bunny of a character from Genshin called Amber.
Okay.
I just live streamed it on Halloween. I drew it out, and after I was done live streaming and drawing the whole thing out, I was like, I'll make it a video, and I did. I edited it, I added music, and I was proud of it. It was cool. Uh, for some reason, I didn't keep going. Forgot why, but oh well. So, and then when Genshin came out, I was like, well, you know what? This is it. This is the game that I'm gonna cover because
Hmm.
it was constantly, dude, a cycle of I'm going. This is the game I'm going to cover. This is the game I'm going to base my channel around. Blah blah blah. And I never get into Genshin was the closest that I've like gotten into it, but I never even put my foot in the door. Like I
Right.
never put my foot in the door in any of these, but Genshin was the closest my foot got to the door frame.
Well, so this is I originally wanted to start doing let's plays and I did try, but I don't think I tried hard enough because it felt really overwhelming, like getting in with editing and then like figuring out like how to, you know, set everything up properly. And because like I love throwing let's plays on while I'm gaming and just like letting them play. I don't watch most let's plays because like that's I have other things that I want to do, but I need the emotional support background noise. And so then I started streaming to get me outside of the aviation bubble. And then as I was streaming, because like I don't always feel good about my streams. Like I don't I don't feel super confident when I'm streaming, but like I'm starting to find my stride, I guess. And so then as I was like watching other streamers, I was like, what, like, I want to know more about this person, probably other people that watch them. And that's when I was like, what if I just did like this thing? And then the idea kind of snowballed, and then here we are today.
Mm.
So, um, but I do want to start putting more energy into paying attention to like the finer details of, because like these aren't hard to edit, right? Like it's a conversation. It's supposed to feel natural. It's not supposed to be like a movie, I guess,
Mm.
or like a TV show like script. I don't know.
That's right.
It's just like it's chill. It's two people chilling and hanging out and getting to know, well, mostly you. And I guess I just kind of ended up talking about myself. Um,
That's good because I was going to ask a question on that topic anyway. You pretty much answered a question of the future in the present.
uh, well, I am a time traveler, so.
Oh, oh.
Which reminds me, I watched this anime called, it's, well, I mean, it's orange, but I like to say Orenji because that's the actual title, and I feel like saying orange just sounds weird. I mean, there's all kinds of weird anime titles, but for some reason saying orange versus Orenji is weird. So,
Mhm.
they kind of, it's a bit of a time travel anime, not as much as like Steins Gate, but it's like these people from the future, they're not from the future, the future version of themselves want to save this dude from committing suicide. And so this one guy's like commenting in a class, it's a physics class, and they're talking about like time travel, like how could it be possible and things of that nature. And he's like, well, if you change the past, won't the future cease to exist? But then that brings in the whole like, uh, what's it called? Parallel universe theory or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. Now I forgot how I got there, and I forgot what my main point was. But
Cool anime is what your main point was.
yeah, I'm
Sounds good. I have a massive bucket list of anime that I haven't been able to watch because actually I do not have time. Or rather, I would rather not make time for that. I would rather put my time into something more important.
like, and
Like
we
this everything in the streaming shenanigans that I'm doing, which we will of course cover.
yes, and we are okay. Let me see what time it is because I do. Okay, I've got like 2 hours.
Oh,
Wait,
cool.
hold on. It's I lied. I have another hour of free time.
Okay.
So
That's not enough time, but all right.
no, um, because I scheduled 2 interviews today, and originally we were gonna meet at whatever time we originally agreed to, and I was tired of shit. So,
Mm, fair.
and originally it was plenty of time. So, anyways, did switching over to streaming on Twitch, did that sort of like spark a love for creating
Excuse
content?
me. Um, no.
Really?
There was a moment where I did go to Twitch and I was like mostly streaming like Honkai
Hmm.
Impact. Um, it didn't last long. I think that's the most I've done. Like maybe I did draw a couple things, but like I think that was the most I've done. I don't remember how I felt about it then, but you know, I left it behind because I think around there was the part of my life where I was giving up
Hmm.
on drawing and pretty much everything.
Why
and
were
I
you
was
giving up
like,
on drawing?
I didn't feel I was adequate enough to draw.
Oh, that's a mood.
It is a mood. Um, yeah, I was giving up on everything, art, all that, the whole shebang, and I kind of just spent a big majority. I would say not a majority, but like felt pretty big. Maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5. Yeah, I think 5 to
Mhm.
almost 6 years of just gaming and living. Like just you go to work, come back home, you just game. Yeah, that was my life for like almost 6 years.
Yeah.
I gave up. But like during those 6 years, I did meet two really incredible individuals.
Hmm.
One I met in high school. He was a high school friend a while. And I'm actually okay. So during that year, I met one incredible individual. I one of my friends from high school when Genshin came out. It was when Genshin came around.
Hmm.
One of my friends in high school from high school suggested that I draw a dystopian, futuristic Genshin thing. Like I draw some Genshin characters in a dystopian land
Hmm.
in dystopian outfits with a different personality. I'm like, this sounds like a great idea. And like me, anyone who gives me any small micros of an idea, I turn it into a fucking I turn it into a whale. I turn it into a massive thing where I'm like, I'm expanding this idea into the multiverse. I go nuts when people give me like ideas because I like thinking. I'm a philosopher. I like thinking. I like talking about shit,
Hmm.
existential shit. It's something I really enjoy talking about because it's it's some I guess it keeps me grounded. Talking about talking about the cosmic endlessness and of entropy keeps me grounded for some reason. That's just how it is. So yeah, I'm like, you know what? Let's let's turn this into an actual like anime. Let's
Hmm.
animate this or draw a comic, and you voice act over it because my friend's like, oh, he's a great voice actor. He doesn't give us enough credit. Um, because he would sometimes he would read us books. He would pull off a book from a shelf,
Yeah.
literal book, and he would read my friends and I and narrate. He would narrate it, and we'd fall asleep to that. It's a fucking beast, but he doesn't realize it. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, let's do that, and he's like, sure. And I'm
Cool.
like, we could do it. I'm like, we could do it. Fuck it, we could do it. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me bring in my other friends. I bring in Fruity
Hmm.
from high school as well. I'm like, yes, let's do this. Uh, and then I try to bring in my brother. Somewhat got in, and then I ask the one guy the new guy that I met
Hmm.
I think a year before in a job. Um, he he did D&D. He did D&D with me and my other friends and my brother.
Okay.
That's how we got closer together doing D&D. And after that there was a point where I asked him, "Hey, do you want to try writing a story for a Genshin dystopian?" And he was like, well, and then he started asking me all these questions, incredible questions that I never would have thought of, because he's a person beyond people. He's very interesting character.
Okay.
Wish anybody I know and know in the future, I would love to introduce them to Isai, but he is unfortunately at this point gone his separate way. We can get into that when like because that also involves the project I'm doing that we can get into that eventually. So yeah, started with that, and during those 5 years, 5 6 years up until about a month ago, starting from now,
Mhm.
we slowly built up this huge project that was no longer a Genshin dystopia, but an original this an not real it was a dystopia, sure. Original in the future concept of real life
Okay.
with as much magic and science and I guess politics and psychology
Hmm.
and everything. This was supposed to be a animation or voice mod, whatever we were gonna call it, pictures and voices over it.
Yeah.
Um, this is going to be something that we wanted to change the world with. We wanted to teach people about themselves so that people can finally start thinking for themselves
Hmm. Yeah.
and stop. No one no one can, with a story like this, no one can start pointing fingers anymore. Your responsibilities would now be your own. It's no more bullshitting after a story like this. Like this was the story.
Yeah.
And as throughout those 6 years up until a month ago, I cared so deeply for this to happen.
Hmm.
And I was the artist of the group, so I got back into art because of it. Not too much though, unfortunately. As much as I deeply cared about this, like dude, truly, like my heart was saying it all, my soul was saying it all. I care about this, and I want this to happen, to succeed.
Yeah.
I
No,
procrastinated. I didn't do as much as I should have, and I'm just gonna say this little bit because I have there's so much bottled up. If I just did what I said I would do, if I did break promises, if I just do and didn't think, I wouldn't be here right now. Sure,
right.
I'd be streaming. I'm streaming at some point, but I'd be in a completely different place. At a place I wanted to be in. I'm cool. I'm cool with where I am now. I accept things pretty quickly. I'm like, well, such is life.
Well,
I accept things pretty quickly.
that's very healthy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's just I acknowledge that there is a whole other reality that another multiverse of me is experiencing.
That's the word I was looking for earlier.
Yeah. Good for that. Good for that guy. He's experiencing that. But here I am. I'm going to experience whatever I'm going to experience. So yeah, I I was a mental nut. I was a I was a booty. I had problems. I had problems. I still have social problems, but like that's because like I guess I feel like it's not worth it. I mean, yes, there's worth in social connections and stuff, but to me, it's not worth it right now because I already got other stuff to focus on. I'd rather be doing,
Hmm.
nose rub. I'd rather be doing this than putting out my ego and socializing, and because killing your ego to revive it into something true is one of the hardest things a human being can do.
So, what do you mean when you say killing your ego?
When you kill your ego, you become your true self. Like you can, when something stops you from doing something when you want to speak your mind,
Mm-hmm.
when you want to say something, when you think back to a moment and you're like, I wish I did this. This could have gone that way.
Right.
That was the moment your ego stopped you from doing what you believed in. It stopped you. And plus there's also moral compass, and there's also um common sense, and there's also courtesy, and there's social standards, and blah blah blah, whole social ladder that we're not going to get into, blah, whole snowflake, whatever, who cares. So anyway, yeah, ego is tough, especially in our current time.
Mm-hmm.
We are
So,
not our true selves yet.
uh, when you say ego specifically, what do you mean? You don't mean like pride,
Pride can be part of it, but it's not just pride. Ego can be beyond pride.
right? So like, there's what
Ego is that
ego.
part that protects you. It's not just
Yeah,
pride. It's not even it sometimes it's not even pride at all. It's that part of your brain that protects you. This period. It protects you from feeling uncomfortable, from feeling like something's wrong.
yeah, okay,
When that's like it's like what people say, get comfortable being uncomfortable. What they're saying is kill your ego, become your true self. That kind of
right.
thing. We are dangerously falling into a topic I absolutely love talking about, so we're gonna like try to move on from that.
Um, I sort of want
Unless
to.
you want to talk about
I sort of want to follow this line of thought. Actually,
it. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I do. I'm kind of the opinion that as time goes on, we're in technology specifically, really, um, we're falling more into a comfort-seeking mindset because that's easy. And this actually brings up like a question that I have meant to ask in previous interviews, but I forgot because I didn't put it on my physical piece of
What?
paper. But um, so you're getting to hear it now. Um,
Go.
with the advent of things like streaming and Twitch and content creation, and most of our interactions, maybe most might be a bit of a stretch, but
Mm, I'll be the
we're
judge of that.
probably seeing the way that relationships are formed develop differently. And what I mean is the person that people present online generally is not their full selves, and maybe not even half of who they actually are.
Mm. You never know. I could tell you, I could tell you right now how I truly am, and I could be speaking facts. I could be speaking the truth, but you never know, because social in-person chemistry is completely different from online social chemistry.
Yes.
I could act the exact same in real life, and I do, the way I'm interacting with you,
Hmm.
but the chemistry can feel different because we're in person.
Yes.
I can be the exact same way. Exactly.
Yeah.
But it will feel different to you. That is how the brain works.
Yeah. Yeah, because interacting, like if I'm talking to you during your stream, that we're separated by who knows how many miles. And on top of
Mm.
that, it's text to you.
Right.
It's a whole different beast. Maybe not whole different, but yeah, you're right. It does feel different. And I mean, I'm getting to the point where my real physical social interactions are mostly at work now because content creation is sort of becoming my world because it is what I'm most interested in. Like it's one
Right.
of those ADHD things where like I took an interest initially and then I just sort of like full on like dove in and this is what I do.
Mm.
And I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it because I'm having a blast and
Right.
I'm still getting like good social interactions, but I maybe could leave my house for, well, apartment for a couple hours a day. It would be good for me.
Yeah.
But
Live your best life.
I am very interested in what I'm doing here because I feel like it has helped me learn a lot. I've learned skills that I wouldn't have otherwise learned, and also meeting like some amazing people and interesting people.
This is good.
Yeah,
Of course. Absolutely. Live your best fucking self.
I mean, I try.
Consistency. That is a key factor in life for anything.
Dude, consistency, that is tough.
It's the toughest.
Yes.
Besides killing ego, well, I mean, it follows in with that. You have to consistently kill your ego. Your ego doesn't just die. You have to constantly do it
Well,
until
yeah.
it finally gives in.
Well, especially because like I don't know, man. My interests or my motivations change so often. I'm a very impulsive person, and it
Hmm,
is something that I have hated about myself for a long time.
pretty impulsive too. I agree with this.
Yeah.
I still kind of am, but I notice the signs that I am slowing down, and it's nice. It's nice
Yeah.
to know I have control sometimes.
I mean, I think the key is realizing that you have control and then utilizing it. Because
um,
sometimes I don't realize it in the moment. But I will say that, and it took me a long time to come to terms with this, but like, I do not have control over. I mean, I do have control over my alcohol consumption, but if I start consuming it, then that control goes out the window. So I just don't drink anymore.
oh, that's a good step.
Uh, I had to. I mean, it was destroying my mental health, and
Excuse me.
yeah, no, you're good. And then, just like a slew of other things. Like, I would just waste a day or two afterwards because I was so hungover, and I was just like, I can't keep doing this if I want to find fulfillment in my life. And so then I stopped, and now like I am doing things. I am like more motivated to like get things done, like super nuts about like making episodes for this podcast that I'm doing and getting to interact and learn about people like you who have these cool ideas and different uh takes on, maybe not different, just like uh I, different's the best word that I can come up with right now, but it's not what I'm looking for. uh Unique takes on life and creation and art.
Different still works.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
So we do have to wrap up here soon
Okay.
because
Ask your
but
questions.
I'm only gonna ask a couple more, and so hold on, let me get my brain back on track. Okay.
So we were talking about like, oh yeah, we were still on the topic of fucking content creation.
Yeah.
It was only like around. Let's skip forward so I can save you time. It was only around like around September ish into November that I actually started
Mhm.
doing the live streaming. So before I even started live streaming, I went like on a week or two streak of nonstop drawing every day, every night.
Oh wow.
My model, not the one you currently see. I haven't. It's an older one. I just re-updated this one, but like I still have bits and pieces of my older model on my number key. I just went ham designed all the emotes that I needed. And I'm like,
Okay.
all right, I'm ready to stream. Let's go. Don't even think about it. Let's go. And I started just streaming a couple games, only a couple games, because I immediately went into streaming me designing my VTuber model
Yeah.
or PNG model, the almonds model, and um, a majority of my audience is here for the art
Right.
because that's what I've done most of the time.
So as you up until this point, what has felt like the biggest accomplishment to you?
Starting,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Just starting, and now I'm here, and I'm still going. So starting, and then the consistency that I'm holding is my biggest accomplishment.
Yeah. So if you were going to do it all over again, would you do it differently?
Trust me, I've started all over again and done it differently in my head about 100 different times
Yeah, I get that.
before I even started.
Yeah.
But as of right now, like ever since starting, I haven't thought about it because I started.
Right.
So I've erased that that false ambition, that
Right.
false dream. That is not a dream. The dream becomes a parasite that just eats away at you. But once you start, a dream is no longer a dream.
Yeah.
It's no longer a parasite. It's there now. So I don't think about that anymore.
Right.
So yes, before I started, yes, yes. No, I would have done it differently 100 different times in my head.
Yeah. Okay. I hate to cut it short because I feel like there's so much more to say. But I do want to thank you for your time, and
hmm
it's man, there are so many more things that I'm gonna want to pick your brain about, but there is more time in the world so far, and who's to say there will not be a part two to this?
Who's to say?
Not me.
I mean, no, not you.
I mean, I
You can
guess
grab me anytime. Just let me know.
likewise.
Goodbye, camera.
Bye,
Oh.
camera. That's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Almondiah and sort of what makes him tick and things that he's working on as much as I did. If you did, leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought was the most interesting part, or being in a creative slump affects you and how you deal with it. Or just leave a like if you like. Thanks for watching. You've been great, and I've been Zeebs.